Hello and welcome. Today we're tackling a really interesting Leetcode problem. It's often called maximum subarray sum, with length divisible by k. It sounds a bit specific, but it teaches us a fantastic pattern for handling subarray problems that involve divisibility. We'll break it down step by step, so it makes perfect sense. Here's the goal. We are given a list of integers, which we'll call nums, and a separate integer called k. We need to find a subarray, that's a continuous slice of the original list, such that two things are true. First, the length of that slice must be divisible by k. And second, the sum of the numbers in that slice must be the largest possible. If no such subarray exists, or if the list is empty, we handle that too, but usually, we're looking for that maximum score. Let's walk through an example to visualize this. Imagine our list contains 1, 2, 3, -1 and 2, and our target k is 2. This means we are only allowed to look at subarrays with lengths of 2, 4, 6, and so on. Let's look at the length 2 possibilities. We have the pair 1 and 2, which sums to 3. Then 2 and 3, summing to 5. 3 and -1 sum to 2. And finally -1 and 2 sum to 1. But we can also look at chunks of length 4. We have 1, 2, 3, -1, summing to 5, and the sequence 2, 3, -1, 2, summing to 6. Comparing all of these valid options, 6 is our winner. Notice how we didn't just pick the biggest positive numbers. We had to respect the length constraint. Just a quick heads up before we dive in. We'll be walking through the logic and solution using Python. But don't worry if that's not your main language. I've included full ready-to-use code for Java, C++, and JavaScript towards the end of the video. The logic remains exactly the same across all of them. The most efficient way to solve this is using the prefix sum pattern. If you recall, the sum of any subarray ending at position I and starting after position j can be calculated by taking the running total up to I and subtracting the running total up to j. So as we walk through the list, we keep a running total. At any point, if we want to maximize our current subarray's sum, we need to subtract the smallest previous running total we can find. The smaller the number you subtract, the bigger the result remains. But wait, we have that constraint about the length being divisible by k. This is where the magic happens. The length of a subarray is the difference between the current index and the previous index. For that difference to be a multiple of k, the two indices must have the same remainder when divided by k. So we don't just need the minimum previous sum, we need the minimum previous sum that occurred at an index with the same remainder. This simplifies our problem massively. We just need to track k different minimum values, one for each possible remainder from 0 to k-1. Okay, we've talked about the big picture and the logic, running totals and matching remainders. Now let's see what this looks like as actual code. I'll put the full solution up on the screen first. And don't worry, after that, we'll walk through the specific sections together so you can see exactly how the initialization and the loop work. Here is the complete Python solution. It's surprisingly short. We use an array called ksum to store those minimum prefix sums for each remainder. We loop through the numbers once, updating our running total, and checking our ksum array to see if we can make a new maximum score. Let's zoom in on the setup, because there is a clever trick here. We create a list called ksum to store the minimum prefix sums. We fill it with very large numbers initially because we haven't seen anything yet. But look at that last line. Ksum at index, k-1 equals 0. Why? Well, logically, before we start the array, our running total is 0. This start is technically at index -1. In modular arithmetic, -1 wraps around to become k-1. So this line effectively says, we have a sum of 0 at the position, right before the start. Now for the main loop. For every number in our list, we add it to our prefix sum. Then, we calculate the remainder of our current index. Let's call it current remainder. Step 1 is to check for a max sum. We look into our ksum tracker at the current remainder slot. If there's a value there, it means we saw a previous index with the same remainder. Subtracting that previous sum from our current sum gives us a valid subarray sum. We update our max sum if this result is better. Step 2 is simply updating the tracker. If our current running total is smaller than what's already in the ksum slot, we save it. This ensures future checks find the smallest possible value to subtract. A couple of quick notes on edge cases. First, our list might contain negative numbers, so the maximum sum could be negative. That's why we initialize maxsum to -infinity, not 0. Second, why did we initialize the ksum array with a large number divided by 2? In some languages with fixed integer sizes, Subtracting a value from infinity can cause an overflow error. Dividing it by 2 is just a safe way to ensure we have a very large number that won't break when we do math with it. In Python, it's less of an issue, but it's good practice. So how efficient is this solution? For time complexity, it is big O of n. We are iterating through the list of numbers exactly once, performing constant time operations at each step. For space complexity, it is big O of k. We only need extra memory for our k-sum array, which stores exactly k integers. This is extremely efficient compared to a brute force approach. That wraps up the logic and the Python code. As promised, I've prepared the full solutions for those of you working in Java, C++, and JavaScript. I won't be narrating these line by line, so feel free to pause the video on the slide that matches your language. Here is the Java solution. We use a long for the sums to prevent integer overflow, and we handle the initialization carefully. Pause here if this is your language. And here is the C++ version. Very similar logic, using vectors and long types to ensure we have enough capacity for the sums. Finally, here is the JavaScript implementation. We use number.maxSafeInteger for our initialization values. So to wrap things up, there are 3 big takeaways here. First, prefix sums are your best friend whenever you are dealing with sums of subarrays. Second, whenever you see a problem involving periodicity or divisibility by k, think about using the modulo operator to group indices. And finally, by greedily keeping track of only the smallest prefix sum for each group, we can solve the problem in a single pass. Alright, before we finish up, I want to quickly show you a personal project I built to solve a problem that always drove me crazy. It's an app called My Daily To-Do. My biggest frustration with every other to-do app was retyping the same things every single day. Go to the gym, review code, work on the daily Leetcode problem. You know the drill. So I built my app around one simple but powerful idea: separating your routine tasks from your one-off tasks. Routine tasks, marked with the little refresh icon, automatically reset for the next day. One-off tasks, like ship new feature, get the little puff of smoke icon, and they disappear for good once you're done. This small change turns a dumb checklist into a smart scheduler. If that sounds useful, you can try it right now on the web. The link is in the description. And one more thing I want to make super clear. Right now, as a thank you for being an early supporter, the app is 100% free. There are no ads, and no subscriptions whatsoever. This means you get access to everything, including really powerful features like presets, which let you save entire task lists and load them with a single tap. Now, down the road, creating new presets will likely become part of a premium plan to help support the channel. But, and this is the important part, any presets you create now, while it's all free, are yours to keep and use forever. So it's the perfect time to check it out on the web, play with all the features, and build out your perfect setup at no cost. If you enjoyed this problem and want to keep practicing, the learning doesn't have to stop here. I've organized all my video solutions into handy playlists. Whether you're looking to grind through more Leetcode easy, medium, or hard problems, or you want to master a specific topic like sliding window or dynamic programming, I've got a playlist for you. It's the perfect way to focus your study sessions. Go to the Playlist tab and find a playlist that fits your goals. Also, if you're looking for even more Leetcode problems beyond the daily challenge, I've started a second channel called Leetcode Unlocked. It's where I'll be posting solutions to a ton of other problems. So if you're serious about your interview prep, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. Hope this Leetcode solution breakdown made sense. If it helped, give that like button a click, maybe subscribe for more, or drop a comment if you have questions. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you know straight away when I upload a video, because I upload videos daily. If you want to support the channel, a few people have asked how I plan my solutions. I'm a big fan of sketching out the logic and data structures on a tablet before I code. It really helps. I've put affiliate links in the description to the tablet I use and a few other good options. Using those links doesn't cost you anything extra but really helps me out. Or, if you're feeling generous, there's always the Boba Fund. Keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.